People in England think they're unique, like way more than they are.
What do you
Someone
mean?
just messaged me on Instagram. You need to try Nando's while you're here. Have you had it yet? And I'm like, we have Nando's in Australia. And they're like, oh, I feel stupid. I looked it up. 30 countries Nando's is in.
And they're like, Nando's,
But
just for us.
Who thinks, like, what English person would think Portuguese chicken is like a traditional British thing? I don't even understand the thought process behind that.
It's also amazing to me that they are like, they have the food that they have here, and they thought they were the ones that like came up with it.
It's not even English food.
Like they have literally mushy peas in a satchel. Did I talk about this on the last
your
podcast?
cultural food is bangers and mash. Sausage. Your cultural food is just shove any type of meat with potato.
Yeah.
And the potato sucks here.
I watched a bus go. It made me angry. I watched a bus go like by us a week ago. And it had on the massive on the side of the bus. It was promoting peas in a satchel.
That's true.
Like a little is it a
no,
sachet?
It was promoting mushy peas.
Is it sachet?
Sachet. It was like mushy pea soup. Or something.
No, it wasn't pea soup. It was just...
It was mushy peas. I remember us talking about it.
And what you do is you tear off so you microwave it in this bag. You tear off the corner, and then it said avo and toast. No, thank you. Mushy peas on toast. That was their slogan.
Mushy peas on toast.
Who's choosing mushy peas over avocado?
Oh, just slap a cabbage on toast. Like, what are you guys doing?
From a freaking tube as well.
Yeah.
No one's wanting tubed mush.
I understand that this has been the podcast for the last 3 weeks, as us just discussing
on the
differences between Australia and England.
I know.
For 40 minutes a week.
No, I would be And
I've got more. I could keep going.
If I saw a bus go by me in Australia advertising mushy peas in a bag.
You wouldn't, Meg.
Exactly.
Because we have taste buds. And we've heard of a thing called seasoning.
Dude, I have literally only half of my taste buds working. I have one side of my tongue working. And I fucking still hate it here. Yeah. Like food. I love being here.
Here's another one. Oh, by the way, welcome back.
Oh.
To Luke and Meg. We're getting you ready for the weekend. Happy Friday.
We haven't even said hi. No. We just went straight into it.
Straight into trashing the English.
Straight in.
Here's another one. It's not really trashing them. This was just my bad, actually.
Yeah, one more. Go on.
In Birmingham, I was talking to someone in the crowd.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, yeah, they were in HR. And I was like, oh, is that do people have to report to you if they root? And the whole crowd would just stared at me. And and then we're looking leaning into each other what a tree? What? And then
HR.
I was like, oh, do you guys not say root here? Oh. And they were like, what? And then I was like, oh, sorry, shag. And the whole crowd was like, oh.
And then they because they were like, oh, now we understand that. That's when they laughed.
Are we the only people using root? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. That is definitely an Australian bad.
As soon as I said it out loud, I realised that I was like, oh, yeah, that's weird that we say that.
That's on us. Where did we get it from? Why do we call it root?
I don't know.
What's the origin of have a root?
I mean, maybe the root goes in the ground.
Where's
I don't know.
All right.
Root's stuck in something.
What? While I'm researching where we came up with root, you can get them ready for the weekend.
Guys, are we turning up or winding down? Look, it's the last weekend of my tour. This better be a turned up. I feel like we've winded down for 3 weeks in a row now. I'm spinning it on the mini travel wheel. No suspense here. Flicking it in 3, 2, 1. It's turn up. Holy crap. Meg doesn't care. She's Googling.
It's a turn up.
This might be the... Oh, but it's just gone back into wind down. No.
It's
back to turn up.
No.
Turn up.
No.
It was turn up.
It was turn up.
Great.
It was turn up.
Thank God. Because we're going to Cardiff in Wales. I want to turn up with the Welsh.
Let's go. Well, I'm also on Friday. I've just been informed that I'm going to go to this drag bar with my friends. Okay, so this is really weird, but it keeps giving me like saying like root means have sexual intercourse. But why? I'm asking
It's
where
pretty obvious because roots are just stuck in stuff in the ground.
Ah.
I think it's. I assume.
Ah.
Wow.
I didn't get that.
We're all learning today. Let us know your theories. Maybe I would actually like to hear international people's theories as to why we call, like, if we refer to someone having sex as having a root.
Yeah.
Let us know your theories. Australian people might have an actual answer. I don't know.
Yeah, or if we can't find it, can someone please research it for us? Give us a thesis on where the origin of the word root came from. Yeah, we are currently in London. We're back in London. We're staying in this little hotel. It's like
Emphasis on little.
yeah, it's a cube, but it's a very lovely cube. It's like got a very comfy bed, great shower, but it is quite literally like a tiny square.
Apart from yours, one of the nicest boxes I've ever been in.
It is. That's so lovely.
You're welcome.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Little inappropriate, but
a little bit,
a
but
nice compliment nonetheless.
a very nice compliment, and it's actually made my day.
Wow.
I'm going to go tell my mum now.
Please don't.
I'm going to go call her.
Actually, I think she listens to the podcast.
She's going to know now. She's like, yes, my daughter does have a nice box, yes. Last week, we were talking about eavesdropping on the Brits and how funny it is because, like, if you're walking by and you just catch a phrase of a British person saying something, most of the time it's hilarious. I've had a couple crackers. When we went to Oxford, we were in the green room, and from, I don't know where it was. It could have been in someone's apartment, could have been like in another bar, but it was just this guy so loud, like screams in the street. He's like, "Oh, who took a shit in my toilet? Fuck!" And then you just hear a bunch of guys go, and he's like, "For fuck's sake!" And I was just like thinking he was going to go, "It was fucking one of you."
Wait,
but
so
he didn't say that. But
I was going to say he didn't find a culprit.
No, he didn't find a culprit. They all just mumbled and I'm assuming like went along their way. But I just found that so funny because he was so loud. And Casey and I, the opening act, we were like, where did that come from?
That's good.
Was it below us?
I saw a meth addict do a cartwheel in Birmingham. Right when Casey was on stage, I was waiting to go on, looking out the window of the green room, and then the meth addict, like, he kind of went ahead of his methy friends. Like, he just had a few lads with him, and he was like 30 minutes ahead, and he turned around and he was so excited. He's like, "Look, look!" And like they weren't really looking because they were on meth, so they were just like staring up at the sky and the trees and like just cracking about.
Yeah.
And then I was like looking, I was like, you know what, I'll watch him.
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, I wonder what he's going to do. And then he just did like one of the most uncoordinated cartwheels of all time. And he was so proud of himself. And then I was really happy for him because and he's like, oh, he looked around like, you know, when a kid does something in front of their mum, he's like, "Mum, look, look." And then like the mum looks away and the kid's like, "Oh, I did a handstand and no one saw it." It was like that. This guy was like looking for some affirmation and I started banging on the window trying to get his attention to give a thumbs up, but he didn't hear me. So, and then he didn't know that someone appreciated his cartwheel.
And then you told the entire stage, to which
I told the story on stage,
audience.
and then they asked me to do a cartwheel, and I did.
And you did.
And it was meth quality.
It was meth quality. It was meth quality.
It was one of the methiest cartwheels I've ever done.
That meth addict would have been so proud.
What's concerning is I wasn't on meth and just can't do a cartwheel.
He's just uncoordinated.
It makes me think that if that guy wasn't on meth, he could have been quite the gymnast.
Maybe he was like a gymnast.
Yeah.
And he was like...
He's like a washed up Olympian.
Setting himself up. Look! His other methy friends were the judges.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
But he was turning up for the weekend.
And then he was definitely turning up
We
for the
did have a
weekend.
wind down weekend last week.
I
can't even remember what we did. That's how much of a wind down it was.
We just chilled out. We
we had my birthday on the Monday night, so we had a few drinks, but that wasn't on the weekend.
It was, and also it was kind of like a wind down kind of outing anyway.
We went to
We had some
Weatherspoons, which is an institution here in England,
Yeah.
Imagine if McDonald's was a pub.
Mm.
It's literally the best way to describe it.
Yeah, very cheap drinks though.
Cheap drinks. You get what you're given. You can literally order at one point on a little screen.
Yeah.
It's weird.
And they like bring it out. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It was so good. What an institution.
It was
10 out of
packed
10
as well on a
would go
Monday.
back again.
Oh yeah, it was great.
Cheap alcohol, fucking great.
And beer's beer. It tastes the same.
Just quickly, the second one, eavesdropping on the Brits, I was watching this really cute old lady and her daughter, and they were sitting together in a park in York, and the daughter goes, "Mum, would you like a bicky?" And then then the grandma just goes, "Oh, the cheeky bitch hasn't bought around the car yet."
So she
just
answer
goes,
the bicky question.
Mum, do you want a bicky? And she goes, "Oh, the cheeky bitch hasn't even brought around the car yet."
What a cheeky bitch.
And I was like thinking that this is like the most wholesome moment. And in like literally 3 seconds, I was just like jaw open, like, oh my God.
We all want to know, did she take the bicky?
She didn't. She literally got up and started walking towards the road.
Oh, too concerned about being picked up.
I think so, yeah.
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 God.
So
She
I
could have
found
had
that
a
was a
cheeky
good one.
dick to take her mind off the cheeky bitch.
Yeah. She could have.
Silly.
Had a moment, didn't take it. But I thought that was very funny.
Hearing an English person call another English person a cheeky bitch, there's something about that.
No, hearing like a 90-year-old sweet woman like, "Oh, the cheeky bitch."
Yeah, she's probably actually referring to a female dog if she's from that era.
Maybe.
Like, the
Wait,
true meaning.
no, because then they wouldn't have brought the car around.
That's true.
If the dog was driving the car.
Never mind. Hey guys, bad thought. Didn't think that one through. Forgot what the cheeky bitch was doing. Well, maybe that's why the dog. So maybe that's why the car wasn't being brought around, because dogs can't drive.
Dogs can't drive.
No? Or actually, I've never seen a dog drive.
Oh, actually, dogs can drive. They've taught
I've seen
two dogs how to drive a car.
I've seen dogs on skateboards.
No, you haven't seen the videos on the dogs driving a car?
No.
They taught two dogs. They took them on this race car track, and the idea was that the dogs like could learn how to drive a car. They were like, okay, we're going to teach the first dogs how to drive a car, and the dogs did great. They passed the test.
What?
Yeah.
How do they accelerate?
So it was like a special mechanism system where the dog put
They
its
gave
paw
little
on the lever, and then
it was steering.
another paw on the wheel, and it was just steering them. You've never seen this? Dude, it's awesome. These dogs just straight up be vibing. They kind of sit back in it as well, and they just like, they see me rolling. They hate it.
I would not be hating. I'd be loving it.
Yeah, it was
That's
pretty
great.
sick.
That'd be great if dogs started driving around, because certain dogs would have certain type of cars. Like staffies would all drive around in utes, for sure. And
Really?
poodles would drive around in like Mazda 2s, like 18-year-old girls who get their first car and their P's, and they drive around like little Suzuki Swifts, and they're like little poodles, like hello.
No, I feel like the like a purebred poodle would be in like a Mercedes.
Yeah, and you know what those big dash hounds would be in, like those big American muscle trucks.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And what would be like the soccer mum car? Sorry, dog. The soccer mum dog would be like
A border collie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A to B.
absolutely.
Get the kids to practice.
Go on.
Get them to the dog park.
Get the
you
kids in
know.
the car. Go on.
Yeah,
I
I
really
agree.
like that. That's a good segment.
A good
I mean,
segment.
it's not a segment, but
It
it's
probably
like,
won't be a regular
it's not a segment.
a staple of
I
the
don't know why I
show.
said that.
Well, you guys can send in dog breeds if you want, and we can assign them a car. Welcome back to What Dog Should Go in What Car.
That is like the shittest segment anyone has ever done.
Australian shepherds would just be truck drivers for sure.
For sure. For sure.
Pit bulls, I feel like, would drive around in like Subaru with like a spoiler, and they'd be like pumping like
I feel like a little Yorkie would be in one of those tiny, like 2-seater cars,
Yeah.
like tiny cars.
Yeah, like
They have
those
tiny
minis.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
minis, or like a Kia Ceed,
Yeah.
something like that. Just like something small.
Yeah, and corgis would just be in the back of a Bentley waving out the window.
Oh, they
like the Queen.
No, I reckon they'd be in like a Vin Diesel style muscle car, like an old American.
Corgis?
Yeah.
The Queen's corgis would be in a muscle car.
I think it would be so
No.
funny. They're rogue dogs,
They'd be in
dude.
something much
They're
more
rogue.
classy. Something much more British. Like an Aston Martin, like a James Bond
Oh
car.
yeah, yeah,
You know, they'd be in something a little
yeah. An
bit more
Aston
class.
Martin is nice.
They call me Korg.
Yeah.
Corgi. The name's Korg. Corgi.
You just
That's
said
a
that
martini.
free. That would be like me going, the name's Hugh. Human. You just said the breed of dog. Or like the name's Caucasian. Like just like
The name's Lou. Luke.
I found that way too amusing.
You
Sorry.
just combine like anything like with dogs, and Meg's like, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard.
The name's Doug. Doggy.
Yeah. Just sets her autism off.
It really is peaking right now. She is peaking. Talking about autism.
Oh yeah.
It's actually on next Tuesday. It's International. Oh, yeah, next Tuesday. It's International Autism Day.
Oh cool.
I think it's like Autism Awareness
What
Day.
do you? How do you
But
celebrate?
I was about to say Autistic Day, but that's not it.
I don't think they prefer that.
I don't think that's it.
What do you do?
Well, I think it'd just be myself, and everyone's like,
Yeah. Just sit there and read train schedules.
"Good job."
Yeah, right.
The train station's gonna be full. No trains running.
Yeah. Just sit
The
there,
carriages are full.
meet up with fellow autistic people, and all
I don't
share your
actu-
favorite prime numbers. Or something.
It's funny that you think I know what a prime number is.
Yeah, what is a prime number? Is it like I forget? Or like it's something that I definitely learnt, didn't retain. I'm pretty sure 5 is a prime number, and I don't know why.
Is 1 a prime number?
Oh,
I feel
this
like
is
number 1 would have
we
to
are
be.
so dumb. This must be infuriating to listen to.
I know. I'm very dumb.
Can't believe
I'm
I
very
have to
very dumb.
Google what a prime number is.
What's a prime
As
number?
people
Luke and Meg learning maths. Da 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 ba ba da boop boop boop.
a whole number greater than 1 that cannot be exactly divided. That's it, right? So 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. So it's like, it can't be like divided by any whole number other than itself. Like
13.
yes,
Did I get it right? Let's go.
19 would be 1.
19.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Oh no, you can divide that by 2. No, you can't.
16, 18, 20.
Never mind. It'd be 18. It'd be
18 and 20.
8.5 divided by. No, it'd be 9.5 divided by 2.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I was doing grade 3.
I feel like I should tell a very funny story of when I first kind of found out that I had autism.
Yeah.
So I went over to Mum's house to be like, hey, this is where I sit on the spectrum, or like this is like where I am, blah blah blah. And her friend was actually there. I was like, oh, I don't really care. I don't mind who knows. So I told her. I was like, oh guys, I just got diagnosed with ASD, and instantly Sharon was like, oh my god, how long do you have?
She thought it was.
And I was like, oh
the
yeah, and I was like,
MSD.
yeah, no, not MSD.
The motor neuron, like the
Yeah.
one that the ice bucket challenge
Yeah,
is.
the ice that yeah.
Is that MSD? Motor neuron syndrome?
Is that ALS? No.
ALS? Oh man, I don't
Oh
know.
fuck.
It's
now
the one that the guy from Melbourne. I should remember. I go from Melbourne. I've gone blank.
Yeah.
The RL coach. God, he's a legend as well. And I've been to all the games where they do the ice bucket challenge.
Yeah.
And I'm
It's the
going blank.
one with like the ice bucket challenge.
Danaher. Neil Danaher. Anyway.
Yeah.
Go.
Anyway, I was like, at first I'm so autistic that I just took it as Bible, and I was like, oh, I mean, like, I could get curious and stick a knife in the toaster tomorrow, I guess. Like, I was like thinking in my brain, I was like, I guess I could kill myself from being autistic in like a stupid way, because like I wouldn't think about that.
That's like just anyone could do that.
Yeah, I
Like,
know.
That's not a.
In my brain, I was like, yeah, must be what she means. And then like slowly it clicks, and I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Do you think that I meant to say? I think it was like
I don't think a
ALS
lot
or
of
something.
people know what ASD is.
Yes,
I don't think that's a common phrase.
So it's not because it's actually like very recently. When I say recent, I think within like the last 10 years, they don't say that you have Asperger's anymore, because the term Asperger's was invented for males with autism, and the guy who came up with it was a horrible man, and he did like really bad experiments and stuff on autistic boys. And so they actually like kind of stopped using that term.
Right.
And it's okay if you've like got that and you still like use that. But now when you get diagnosed, you basically just get told you've got ASD, autism spectrum disorder, and they don't tell you where, in the test, they don't tell you where you sit on it or anything. That's like up to you. Nah, they don't get it off a chart. They don't get it. Well, she said it's actually like a grid.
Like you're high.
Yeah.
Or you're low.
You're low, you're here, you're high. Yeah, they don't even use high. They used to use terms like high functioning and low functioning.
Right.
But they don't even use that anymore. They
It'd
just say you're on a grid.
It'd be cool if they like had a little like, like the color spectrum.
Yeah.
If they like they're like, you're like a light indigo and you have to make up your own mind about what that is.
That's basically what they're doing though. They're like, here's a grid. You can basically choose where you sit on it.
Yeah. You're lime green. And you're like, what does that mean? And they're like, good luck.
They don't say anything.
No.
They just say.
And you have to live with that forever. You're like, I'm lime green. What
does that mean?
And you ask other people, like, what are you? And they're like, oh, I got told I was like a
Blue.
weird cyan. And they're like, what? And they're like, oh, I'm looking for another lime green. And you find another lime green.
I'm turquoise.
Yeah.
Yeah, you find another lime green and you're like, oh my God, we're the same.
Yeah, and then you both have to figure it out together.
But that's basically what they do. They literally just say, you've got ASD, good luck.
Yeah, right.
And then I'm like, oh, okay, you've got autism spectrum disorder. Done.
It's one of those things where, like, it's not something I think about a lot.
Yeah.
That you got a sign that, diagnose that. Yeah.
You don't need like a sign.
Diagnose feels like the wrong
It's a
term
wrong
because
thing,
it's like
yeah.
diagnose is like I got diagnosed with cancer. Like for some reason in my head, diagnose seems negative.
It's
like
does.
a word that has negative connotation towards it.
I guess you could just say I found out.
Found out, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not something that I think about. Like we hang out all the time, every day.
Yeah.
Like and have 4 years or longer. And
inseparable for 4 years.
Not a thing that I've ever think about, except for like sometimes it'll just.
Well, the negative parts will come out sometimes.
No, it's always in the positive parts. The only time I think about it, it's like whenever we like walking down the street and I'm just having a normal conversation with Meg, and then a dog will walk past, and then I keep talking, and I realize Meg hasn't heard anything for 15 seconds.
Yeah. Because
there's a corgi driving a Bentley or something like that. Like,
okay.
The name's Korg, and Meg's like corgi.
There's also like things where I do get overwhelmed and stuff in situations. Like the other day, I
noticed you getting overwhelmed on the train.
So I put my headphones on. I usually carry my noise cancelling headphones around just in case there is.
I'm like, get her a headphones, put up a little like 6-year-old farm game on her phone, and let her sit in the corner for an hour and sweat.
That's the thing. I do that. I literally have my gardens game that like for some reason it's the only game that completely calms me down, and so I'll just sit in the corner with my headphones on. Or like if I'm in a club, I won't obviously play the game in the club, but I'll just put the noise cancelling part on, and I'll just look like the most autistic person there.
Meg
like
looks like she's having a silent disco sometimes.
Yeah, I'm like literally, because I'm not listening to other music, but I'm just like need like a little bit of like a sensory like.
Even I hate loud clubs. I'm becoming an old man. Like
I like the music.
We
went
to this place last night after the show in London, and you were catching up with some friends who live here. And Casey and I, who's opening the shows, we went and got food, and I was like, we will, meet us there. We like go to this place, and it's outside of here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Of course, Meg's chosen a place that's just because you were like, I'm gonna go catch up with my friends.
Yeah.
Place, and everyone's like, what?
I know.
I can't hear you. I'm like, why would you go here to?
Well, because it
catch
wasn't
up?
actually pumping that hard. Like when we walked in, it was relatively quiet.
And then I get there, half the show's there that it's just singing,
Yeah.
and everyone's like, look, shots. You're doing tequila shots with them. I'm like, I am not doing tequila shots. And I don't know if this is the thing. People who don't know who I really am,
It's a Wednesday night.
they think I'm this guy that's like, yeah, I'm doing shots on a Wednesday. I'm like, no, I'm 27. You're 21. I actually don't really want to be here.
Yeah.
And the last thing I'd ever want to do right now is have a shot with you. And I'm comfortable with telling people that in a nice way.
Yeah.
I don't tell them the last thing I'd ever want to do.
No.
I'm
no,
like,
no,
oh,
no.
no, thank you, but thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it's also a Wednesday, so I feel like they
But
would
get so
understand.
bummed out. The girl's like, what do you mean? Like,
But I would buy it for you. And you're like, I can also buy a shot, but I don't want to.
yeah, I just, like, you buying something that tastes like petrol to me
Yeah.
isn't
Pure diesel.
nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I get the gesture. The gesture's nice.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, I feel like you only really recognize it like when something is negatively affecting me, and it's always mostly in the form of like a sensory overload thing. And like also I remember the first thing that I was like so nervous to bring up around you was the fact that I always have a teddy on me. Like I always have my dog.
Toby.
Toby that I take everywhere.
It's not a teddy, firstly. It's a dog.
It's a dog. It's like a teddy dog.
A teddy would be a bit embarrassing, but a dog.
I had it. So from when I was a kid, and I can do this on next week's episode if people actually want to see it, but I have the most fucked up, mangled teddy bear. It's not even a teddy bear. It's just a head, and it's one of its arms is on its ass because like it's just fucked.
Looks like Sid from Toy Story has got his hands on it.
No, it looks like he's been in a meat grinder.
Well, yeah, same thing.
No, oh, sorry, not Sid. I thought you meant Sid the Sloth. Because it does kind of look like Sid the Sloth has been through a meat
Sid
grinder.
The sloth was not in Toy Story.
No, I know.
And if he was, I missed that.
I just realized that you said Toy Story. And I
No,
was
the
like,
evil kid that fucks up all the toys.
Yeah. And so, like, I never took a dummy as a kid. I never took dummies. I only had that bear.
You know what?
So from when I was a baby.
Sucking on a dummy makes you a dummy. Think about that.
Yeah, that's why Luke's a dummy.
That's true.
I mean, why am I a dummy then?
You're not.
Why am I stupid?
Well, we both didn't know what prime numbers were.
Exactly.
So clearly there's no
correlation
between sucking on a dummy and being a dummy. It must be another reason why we're dumb.
Yeah. Yeah, but I had this mangled ass bear, teddy bear, and when I think I would have been like 9 years old. The rest of my family got together and they were like, right, this is enough. She needs to not have this.
When you were 9,
teddy. Oh no, actually, it would have been
like pretty young to.
I think
you
I
could
was
still have a teddy.
No,
when
actually,
you're
I
9.
think I was like 7 or 8. Yeah, but this thing was like fucked up. Like, Mum was like, I've had it. I'm sick of constantly having to tie this bear together. And so they made this plan when I went to Sydney for Christmas. They did it over Christmas time.
Oh, Teddy got caught in the blender.
Mum, they acted like I had lost Teddy. But in actual fact, Mum had just taken it and didn't bin it. We've still got it at home.
Oh.
So I still have him now. But they like took him away. And then when we went to the shops with my nana, Tom was like, I want to get an eyebrow piercing. And my parents were like, no, you can't get piercings because of school and footy. And my nana was like, nah, fuck them. I'm his mum, so I can do whatever I want. And so Nana bought Tom an eyebrow piercing, got it pierced with him. And then I was like, well, I don't want to get a piercing, but I don't have anything. And so she's like, well, what do you want? And I picked out Toby.
Nice.
And I've literally been inseparable from him since I was like, around 7 or 8 years old. And that helps with like all the sensory overload. And I was so nervous telling you about it. I was like, I'm not a kid, I swear. But I like this bear and I'm going to bring him everywhere with me.
Asshole, do you think I
don't know. It's weird. I thought you were going to be like, that's fucking strange.
I was like, okay, cool.
He just accepted it. I was like, really? And I was like, I'm 20 years old and I carry around a toy with me. And he was like, yeah, I totally understand that. I get that. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Okay.
Sometimes
I've been told my whole life that this is really, really weird and I should go on My Strange Addictions, but this is good. Okay.
Yeah, well, maybe getting told your whole life that having something you love
is a bad thing.
yeah, it was a bad thing is not good.
No, it's not good.
Maybe
it's not
that's
good.
not good.
Not good. Not good at all.
Maybe there's nothing wrong with just having something you like.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's
so
okay.
If you're an adult and you still have a teddy and people bully you for it, fuck those people.
But just don't
You're
fuck
not alone.
the teddy.
Don't fuck the teddy.
That would be weird.
And also probably don't fuck those people actually. But like...
Yeah, because they're not supportive of you. They don't deserve
your roots.
Seed.
No.
When that came out, I didn't like that.
That's nasty.
That's
anyway.
one of the nastiest ways. Like, you know, like how cum is quite a graphic word?
Yeah.
I think
it's
the
a
phrase
heavy word.
Spreading my seed has got to be the
worse.
most disgusting way
that has to be
to
the worst.
describe ejaculation.
Oh, yeah. That is.
And I gave her my seed.
No, don't say it in that voice. That's... Oh.
It's like such a hard listen. It's such a hard say.
But when you say it in like a kind of incel way, I'm gonna
hold your nose.
I'm gonna
spread my seed.
I'm gonna spread my seed for you. Ugh. That's nasty. Okay. Anyway, no, don't choke on the microphone now.
What?
Yes, but back to like the original story. I was like, Sharon, do you mean?
What's the story?
So recap. Went to my mum's place to tell her that I had ASD. Her best friend Sharon was there,
Right.
and I was like, "Oh, guys, I have ASD." And Shaz was like, "What the fuck? You're gonna die?" And I was like, I guess, maybe." And then I was like, "Hold on a second. Do you think that I meant to say ALS? I'm pretty sure it's ALS.
ALS, that's it.
It's ALS, yeah. Did you think I meant to say ALS?" She was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Oh, no, that I have ASD, autism spectrum disorder."
Yeah, but why would
and
you
then
not
this
just
bitch
say autism at first? Because like, no one, especially that age, is gonna know what ASD is. I don't think I would have known what that is if you
it was
said
dumb.
that out of the blue.
No, yeah,
So I would have been like, "What's that?"
It was dumb on my
Although
behalf.
I wouldn't have assumed you had ALS. I
No.
still wouldn't have assumed
Well,
that. I would have just been like, "What are you talking about?"
So I thought the conversation was going to be like, "Oh, I have ASD, autism spectrum disorder," and she was going to go, "Oh, of course, that makes more sense." This motherfucker goes, "Oh, but you don't look like you have autism." Oh, I didn't think I looked like Stephen Hawking. Oh, what the fuck? What? Like, any autistic person who is watching this has guaranteed had someone in their life say, "Oh, but you don't look like you have autism."
I'm sure people with depression have had people say that. That's
but you
wild. You don't
yeah.
look like you're depressed. You're like, okay, I'm smiling now. It doesn't mean.
Oh, hold on. Let me just start like tying a noose around my neck.
Oh, good. Sorry.
Hold on a second.
I'll just get my My Chemical Romance CD and load it up right now.
Yeah.
My bad.
Sorry. I just need to go dye my hair black.
Yeah. Oh, hang on. I'm going to reactivate my MySpace profile. No, that's a serious thing.
Sorry.
But yes, I agree. It's so true. I hate when people say that. You don't look like you have. Oh, because that's the whole point. It's a hidden thing, and I don't know what a prime number is, but you're dumber than me. And that's shocking.
Luke slams, let's
Thank
go.
you. It's not a great slam
God.
because the slam starts with me saying I don't know what a prime number is. It's not usually good slams don't start with such a self-burn.
Actually, you had the weirdest person. Like, it's such a strange thing said to you in the line at the other night
in Birmingham. I was meeting the crowd after the show. This one girl just. I'll be honest, it was one of the most unhinged sentences I've ever heard. Just walked on me, "Oh, hello, Luke." And I'm like, "Oh, hello." She says her name, right? And then she goes, "You know what? you should be diagnosed with ADHD. You need to be medicated. Anyway, I'm from Essex. And I'm like, what just happened?
Wait a second.
I
would snap to Pick and she's like, see ya.
I wanted to hold up a mirror just slowly and be like, maybe look in that one. Maybe it is not I that needs to be medicated. You need to be medicated. Anyway, I'm from Essex.
That is so unhinged.
She didn't take a breath between the two sentences. She didn't put a comma in there.
Nah. Just said it. Just came out and said it. That's so fucking unhinged.
And Casey just lost his mind laughing at her.
As you would. I mean, that's such a strange thing to come up and tell someone you've never met.
She diagnosed me.
Yeah.
Then she prescribed medication and then she stated where she was from despite not me caring or asking. How good.
London.
Anyway, I'm from Essex.
We've
been saying that all week.
I'm from... Yeah, we say something and then we just go, something unhinged.
If someone else says something unhinged, we're like, oh, we need to go find the thing. If someone's talking really fast for the show, Casey was like, oh, I can't find my book. Oh, and I need to go to the toilet. And I'm like, anyway, I'm from Essex.
The name's Corgi. Anyway, I'm from Essex.
And some people are like, I don't get it. And you're like, there's nothing to get. It's just fun to say things.
I've just been in a robbery. Anyway, I'm from Essex.
Yeah. It's after you. Imagine if when you found out that you had autism, they're like, oh, you actually have ASD. You have the spectrum disorder. Anyway, I'm from Essex.
That's the doctor.
It's just what?
Your grandma's just died and I just peed myself. Anyway, I'm from Essex. You just say anything that's fucked and then you just put, anyway, I'm from Essex.
It's wild. These London shows, we've done 2. I got 2 more tonight and we've got 2 more on Monday.
They're amazing.
Honestly, the best venue I've ever had the pleasure of performing in.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So lovely.
So beautiful.
So lovely to the point that other comedians messaged me like, oh man, how lovely are the staff?
The entire staff.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, they're too nice. And then other comedians like, it's suspicious. They're too nice.
It is a little bit suspicious.
But all my favourite comedians ever perform there, like Dave Chappelle, Ricky Gervais, even just the people who are coming up doing a show.
Yeah, but we can see why. Because that room is
unreal.
hot.
Michael McIntyre does trial shows there. It's the perfect size. I reckon it's the perfect amount of people. It's just under 500 people. It's intimate, low ceiling. It's weird to have a 500-seat venue. This has such a low ceiling. Usually they're just quite big rooms that have really high ceilings. It's, oh my God, I can't understand. And it's the soundtrack was telling me, it's just such a historically cool venue to play in because it used to be a music venue where The Clash played London Calling for the first ever time. And it was called The Venue.
That's really cool.
And the Sex Pistols used to play there. It's just such a...
It's an iconic venue.
Iconic. And it's in Australia, we have venues that are oh, cool, this band played there when they toured here. But it's always oh, Fall Out Boy played here in 2010 or
yeah.
And it's
cool.
It's
not an establishment. It's not an iconic people from all around the world. Literally this theater, there's been acts there that they can absolutely do arenas. They can sell out arenas, but they choose to do there, and they choose to do 10 nights there rather than one show in an arena because it's so good. And I can totally see why. Yeah. It's awesome.
It's amazing.
It's and also the staff are so helpful and they've already got things that are just set up. It's so
we didn't
practical.
Have to do anything.
It's so practical for comedy.
They were your camera's going there, and they've got a little mount of usually the cameras are annoying because we film all the shows just in case I do crowd work or whatever that we want to post.
Yeah.
And usually it's the theater's you could chuck it in the corner there. It's such an inconvenience for them. It's oh, you're blocking a fire exit. Can't put it there. You're gonna have to just jam it here, and then you're gonna have to tape all around it. And there's no power.
Yeah.
They're we'll record the audio for all the shows for you.
Send it to your email straight after the show.
We don't have to put up any of our signs that say the show's being filmed because they've got screens everywhere. There's tape at the front of the stage so I don't fall off it, which some venues do not have, and I'm always
No.
terrified because I can't see the front of the stage because it's black and the room's black.
Yeah, and it's
And
like the reflective
The
tape as well.
backstage is nice, like love the couch. Just like it's just perfect.
They already have water ready for you to go
They're
for like stage,
There's
which is actually a bigger issue. Oh my god, issue. It's a bigger issue than
You
what
would
you'd think. Yeah, because like it's little things like that make up time because you have to think of all of these little
It was
things.
the most at ease I'd felt before a show, and then I actually had two great shows because I just was like not stressed about anything. Usually something goes wrong. Usually just there's one thing that's like, oh, we can't get the audio recorder to work, and I have to, someone needs to go buy a cord, or like something that's just happens almost every show.
Yeah, I mean, even like recording this, our recorder is kind of broken.
It took us 2 hours to set up.
Yeah, it took us so long because I was like, no, I really want to do a podcast today. Like,
we should have done it at the venue. That would have been like, of course.
Yeah, they would have been so fine with it. But yeah, I'm like terrified that our recorder is just going to switch off at any moment and delete all of this, and that would be horrible. I'm like, biggest fear. Anyway, funniest thing happened before the first show the other day. So we're going into the backstage area, and I open the door, and this guy clearly thought I was just one of the other like friend staff members, and so he just like jumps out and scares me, and I just go the weirdest and Casey was like, was that the door? He was like, I thought that was the door squeaking.
The guy felt so bad. He was like, boo. And then he realized it wasn't one of his staff, like one of his colleagues. And he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, he was so apologetic. And he just, the entire night, he was like, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, dude, it was so funny. Like I screamed like I was the sound of a door squeaking. Like it's so good. And he's just the entire night, like I'd go up to like film something and he'd be like, I'm so sorry. So sorry.
You should be thanking him. Now you can do a great door impression.
Exactly. And I didn't know that I could. I didn't know I had that in me, but now I do. So,
yeah. Were you disappointed that the Piccadilly Circus wasn't an actual circus?
I was. I was a little bit disappointed that they didn't have anything circus themed.
I had a message from another comedian, Elliot, right? Who and he's messaged me the same thing, and I had the same thought 3 weeks ago when we first came. I didn't actually think it was a circus, but I'd seen it on the Monopoly board, and I didn't know if because it's Monopoly, I thought maybe it is a circus.
Yeah,
you see like Mayfair, Piccadilly Circus. I'm like, oh, maybe that's like a famous like Cirque du Soleil, like a thing that's in London that has a residency. in London. I'm
even like a mini golf that's circus themed. Anything.
I thought it would be better than mini golf.
I just thought like literally anything circus themed.
It's just a roundabout.
Yeah.
In London.
Yeah.
It's quite busy that has a statue there, and it's a bit of a pain in the ass. And it attracts tourists like me that are like, let's go see Piccadilly Circus. And you get there and you're like,
that is a fountain.
Could have just played Monopoly.
Yeah.
And no one gives you $200 as you pass it either. It's bullshit. I think that's it. But thank you very much for tuning in. Please turn up this weekend, everyone. I think this is our last podcast here.
Just before we go, I think you've just solved the UK housing crisis.
What?
If everyone just if the whole of the UK actually just became a game of Monopoly, then people can just walk past Go and collect $200.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if you remember the point of Monopoly, which is it's literally a game based off the problem of capitalism, which is where the richest person ends up buying out all of the poor people in the game. You lose everything, and instead of dying, you just can't play anymore.
Okay, well, what about this? They take out the rest of the board,
and you just have
you just have Go.
Who's funding the Go?
Well, a bit of a tables have turned. The rich people. It's like taxing the rich, you know. You just every time a poorer person steps on Go gets $200.
You know what, Meg? That was a good idea. I'm sorry to fight it with logic and common sense.
Thank you so much.
I can't believe
I can't believe that you would actually do that. I thought you came up with a great solution. So, you know, pat on the back, bud.
I didn't. But
pat on the back.
Hey, thank you. I've just solved
the UK's housing and living crisis.
Is there one?
Is there a living
Yeah. People keep talking
cost
about
of living crisis in
it.
the UK?
Everything's so expensive.
Have they got one? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are people who can't. Oh,
I don't live here. I don't know if you know that.
I know that we have to end, but really quickly,
I just want to
I
point that
saw
out.
the most insensitive TikTok, and a bunch of other people in the UK have probably seen it as well. It was just this like girl going around. It was very clearly done by like the government or something, like around one of the parties or something. And she was like, "Here's how to save on energy." And she's like, "Just don't leave lights on." And like she was like, "Keep the showering to one song." She was going around like saying all of these things, like, how can you like help fix our carbon footprint and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then people in the comments were like, "Hey babe, I literally haven't been able to turn on my heater all winter. Like, I would love to have a shower that goes for one song." And it was just a bunch of people in the comments like, this is literally the most insensitive, like, rich person shit to do.
Out of touch.
So out of touch. I was like, this is blowing my mind that this, like, that they're so out of touch that they're like, yes, like, everyone can afford these things and therefore everyone can, like, take a step down on it. It was fucked.
You know what my favorite influencer TikToks are?
Yeah.
Is when like those influencer like hot girls will go like, I'm working at like it's McHappy Day today and I'm gonna be at this McDonald's, and isn't that crazy that I'm just like working at a McDonald's? Like, what? So if you want to come say hi, I'm just gonna be working like a real job today. It was like crazy.
Oh my God, I literally just punched in 2 orders into the system. I actually like did the orders. Like, I had the headset on and I actually punched in the orders. And then I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. Oh my God, I can't.
It has the same energy when politicians go to work sites and put on a hard hat, and then like they like hammer one thing in, and like they go, and they like give a thumbs up.
No, they don't even hammer something. They're like hammering like a fake wall.
Yeah.
And they're like,
the tradies give them something to do for the photo op.
Yeah.
There's nothing that infuriates me more than
they're wearing like a $700 Gucci suit. And then they're like, I'm one of you.
Yeah. See, at least I just don't pretend, you know, that I would ever want to do that job. Yeah. I know working at Macca's is shit, and I would never want to do it. And if I did, I wouldn't be like, this is crazy. I'd be like, something's gone fucking wrong.
There's an issue here.
I'll be honest.
Something's happened.
Something's happened. Right?
Something bad has happened.
I'm not like, I'm assuming there's a bunch of people listeners who do work at fast food, right? I used to have shitty jobs when I was young as well. If you're older working there, maybe look inwards.
Yeah, I mean, he picked up balls on a golf course.
That was a pretty good job, I'm not going to lie. But I did a lot of shit jobs. I did furniture removal for $15 an hour, cash in hand, lifting pianos up staircases.
Nice.
That definitely was illegal.
Yeah, that is absolutely illegal.
Yes.
Child labour in Australia, Lukey says. Yes.
Hell yeah. Lukey says, if you're paying me to sit in the car sometimes, then I'll do it. Because I used to get paid for like...
Because I would get $15 an hour, yeah.
Yeah, because one time, like, I thought that was the best day ever. Like,
you just sat in the car?
No, because we did a job in Sorrento one day. Like, the woman was moving to Sorrento that we moved. So, like, we loaded it up the truck, and then I got paid for, like, the 1 hour car ride to Sorrento. And at the time, I was like, dude, I just got $15 for just sitting in a car.
That is pretty good.
Yeah.
Because you can't drive. So, it's like you're literally just sitting on your phone or listening to music.
I mean, the fact that I probably didn't have a phone or like a good phone.
Yeah.
That I could do anything on because I was getting paid $15 an hour.
I can't believe you could lift anything when you were that age. I'm sorry. I've seen the photos. You look like a gust of wind would snap you in half.
Yeah.
A leaf would fall from a tree and just dislocate your shoulder.
The boxers did. Yeah, I can't believe I was employed. Because I remember I used to rock up to people's houses as one of like the staff. And the people moving house were like, oh, so is that like the guy that ticks off the stuff on the clipboard, or like what's his role? Because there's no way he's moving my piano. And I'm like, nope, I'm that guy. 200
kilos.
I'm like, oh yeah, you've got a spiral staircase. Sweet. Sounds
Too
good.
easy. Piece of cake. Let's go.
I legit used to do that.
Did you actually?
Yeah, it was
I'm
awful.
so surprised.
No, it wasn't just me. Like, there was the dudes.
Yeah, yeah.
I used to work with these, like...
You would be the one, like, guiding the piano, like, on the other, like, in the middle of it, not really taking any much,
Yeah.
just, like, making sure it wouldn't tip one way.
I'm not going to, like, say what the company was, but everyone who worked there was working illegally, like, cash in hand. They were, like...
There's a lot of companies
they were, like,
that.
overseas people all the time. So they always, like, just, like, big dudes from, like, Europe that chain smoked all day.
Let's go. So really what
and then
you're
I had
saying
a couple
is
friends who worked there, which is how I got the job.
you moved the boxes and you assisted with the piano, but
yeah.
really, yeah,
I was like...
we know who was doing the lifting.
Yeah. I was like, oh, just angle... I was like the guy. I was like, maybe angle it that way.
To the left, to the left.
To the
To the left, to the left.
Mm.
Everything, the piano. Just move it to the left. I don't
Yeah.
know. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Weekend Ready with Luke and Meg. We hope that we have gotten you ready for your weekend. We are turning up. So get fucking hyped.
We're going to be turning up. We're going to... we're in London and Cardiff this weekend.
Yep.
So, and then we're wrapping up and come back home to Australia. So the next episode will be
in
the
Australia.
back in our house.
Yes.
The regular setup.
Yeah.
So hopefully it doesn't take us 2 hours to set up for the next one.
I'm nervous. All right.
For that. All right. Thanks very much for tuning in, and keep leaving a rating on Spotify and iTunes.
A good rating.
Or whatever
please.
it's called. I don't know what it's called these days. The Apple podcast thing.
The apples.
Leave 5 stars.
Go
It helps the
leave me a
pod.
review. Go leave me a Yelp review on the apples. I'm pretty sure that's how they say it.
Yep. Yelp on the apples.
All right. Yelp on the apples. You've heard it.
TripAdvise these nuts.
All right.